We're live. Good morning, everybody. Let me get this out of the way. Happy Tuesday. Another 9:30 show. Same as always. Today we're going to be talking about building an infrastructure.
All right.
And we're back. So today we're going to be talking about building an infrastructure. And I think the reason, Corey, you came up with this idea is just because when we're having conversations with advisors, we're realizing that we have to start with the basics without gaining, we're always talking about gaining attention, but without the infrastructure in place, it's the attention isn't as worthy, I guess, or we can't use it as much. So simple things, but basic infrastructure is crucial to starting to be online and try to get your marketing going.
There is a lot of running before we're walking going on, and I passionately want to fix that.
I like that too. A lot of running before walking. I completely agree. And I think to some degree, we always thought that. By the way, hi, Anthony. If anybody hates their job and wants to go work for Anthony, he's hiring. So I think we found that I thought people had no ideas and they weren't sure what to do. But really, a lot of advisors have too many ideas. And like you said, they're running before they're walking. So why don't you talk a little bit about why you think that's happening? Some of the obviously we don't have to call anybody out, but some of the conversations we're having and why you're leading into thinking about infrastructure this morning.
Yeah, I mean, I would never call anybody out at all, and this doesn't even.
This is a general sense always, right?
Sure, yeah.
We have bunches of conversations. This is no singular individual.
And this doesn't even necessarily apply to any individual in general. I think where my mind goes with this is we want when we think of marketing and we think of sales and we think of attempting to bring in new business, we want it fast. And we think that we can just go out there and promote ourselves, promote our service, promote the bells and whistles and get it. And far too often we're skipping over the fact that we haven't even built a foundation for the audience and our community to come into and learn about us and figure out who we are. There is no foundation built at all. In fact, I find that if you peek under the hood of the promotion and someone's out into the world promoting themselves to bring in new business, you peek under the hood, there's not a whole lot there. You can't even find out who they are, what they're about, what their story is, what they believe in. Just some of that basic stuff is not even established yet. They're telling the world to work with them. And I think that they've completely jumped steps 1 through 5, and they're on step 6.
So let's break it down in terms of what would you say an advisor should do to begin building that infrastructure and that foundation?
I mean, I think for one, we all have to recognize that having a well thought out, and I'm very careful with how I say this, a well thought out, simple website is probably the place that you have to start. Like, you have to have somewhere for people to go to find concrete evidence that you are who you say you are and that your business is what you're telling people, the world, your business is about. So that's as granular as literally like having the address, the business address readily available on the website. People get to the website, who I am, what I do, who I serve, answer a few questions. And that's really all your site has to do. It has to just prove and be the backbone of what the business is. And then from there, I mean, I think the low-hanging fruit is establishing a social media profile, profiles, LinkedIn, Facebook, wherever you are, and making sure that those profiles also match what it is that you're telling the world on your website. So those are the initial, I'll take a break there, but those are the initial foundational blocks that I'll lay out.
And it seems simple, right? It seems basic, but when you're not paying attention to those things, or you're always thinking about posting, you're dealing with your current relationships. I mean, you're doing you're doing your due diligence as an actual advisor. Marketing is usually a forethought. So those things usually slip under the rug. And we realize it more so than not is, of course, people can always message you directly on your personal page. They can always call you. But when people want to do research and they click on a link and it doesn't go anywhere, it's not to say they're never going to talk to you again, but it just creates a friction that's completely unnecessary. So that's why we're so big on the first thing we do is break down something simple. Where are you spending your time? Obviously we're dealing with the avatar situation. Who are you speaking to? Then when we figure out which platform you're supposed to be on, let's build an infrastructure before we start creating any content whatsoever.
Yeah. I mean, look, I've told people this a handful of times, and it's something that I've run with for a while, having had, my wife and I have now purchased 2 homes throughout our marriage. When you go to buy a home, you walk into that home with your realtor excited to buy that home that you're looking at. And this is in the early process. You're just first seeing the house. You walk in the door and you're looking for reasons for that house to prove you wrong, because you want to buy the house. You're excited. You've researched it online. You've done all your due diligence digitally. And now you want that house to prove you wrong. And I think people are the same way. When we want to hire a financial advisor, when we want to hire a services professional, we've done the due diligence, or we're in the stage of doing our due diligence and we're waiting for that advisor to prove us wrong. So then, Ryan, when you say the link's broken, or it doesn't connect the dots for me, or I'm not able to fulfill the research that I'm hoping to fulfill when I research John Smith, that now advisor is giving you reason to prove them wrong, or to not do business with them. And I think people need to think that through.
Really good analogy. I love how, and I say that with where I really mean it, because we've probably talked about that to some degree, but not the way you just put it. So I think that makes it, really clear. And I love thinking about it that way. When we're usually clicking around and making sure these things work, simple things like email, and then we're having infrastructure. The other thing that I think is so important is when you start writing your profiles, you're making sure those links go, but then you're setting up your foundation. You start writing your profile. I think it forces you to think about your business in a different way, because you're thinking, who am I talking to? What is my business really about? And how do I summarize that? And I realize when most people enter that world, when we're even in the infrastructure stage, it brings them inward and thinking, oh man, I may not really know who I'm talking to, or I'm not really sure, what content I should put out, because I don't even know what my business really stands for. I just know I have either a minimum or an idea in mind that I'm an advisor, but where do I aim that? And I think building that infrastructure and that foundation comes back to your business. So you do it on social, it comes back to your business and your processes.
Yeah, I think an exercise we all need to do and perform, and this goes for us as well, Ryan, but everybody in general that's running their own enterprise here, is I know it sounds corny and everyone says it, but take a step back and enter your ecosystem as if you were a stranger. And are your needs being met? Are the boxes checked? Are you met with surprise and delight, or are you met with skepticism and reason to question? Do things connect the dots for you? And I think most often we would look at it, if we brought in a third party and said, tell me what you think of this. Tell me what you think of when you experience my brand in totality. They're going to find holes, and not everyone's going to be perfect. That's okay. But if there's gaping holes and it's you're not answering these questions for me, but the guy down the street does, that's a big deal to a stranger.
I think what I'm realizing too is people thought we would be, and while I think we are an idea machine or a think tank of content, what I'm realizing is we need to be more clear than creative. Most of the time, we're always trying to step outside our box and do something crazy. And that's something I've been saying that's going to be a staple. I can already feel is that you just need to be more clear and explain things easier in layman terms. Graphics and things popping up on your videos and all that stuff is great. But at the end of the day, your message just needs to hit. And the clearer it is, the easier it is to understand, the more valuable and consumable it becomes to your average Joe who's just scrolling through.
I help senior professionals that are 45 and up, speak that language direct. Like Stacy had such a good point on Friday. Like continue to niche down, drill deeper. The deeper you get, like, and you and her had a great riff and conversation about it. Like you don't want 200 households anyways. You want a more finite, concentrated group of really quality households. That's what you want.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you don't mind, Kristen, can you pull up not the most recent, but the person?
No, definitely the most recent.
Well, also the most recent. Yeah. So this is something big. And Anthony just said in his past comment, happened yesterday. He got an incoming call and it was based on this. Person's been following content for 18 months, then called because a certain post hit him the right way at the right time.
18 months, dude.
Few things to unpack there. First of all, 18 months, right post at the right time, leads with consistency, with which everybody knows Anthony really is. And I've had a lot of people say, with his funny videos and things, does that really get business? And Anthony's consistently said he's getting business on social media. My specific question for you, Anthony, if you're willing to share, what post was it? What were you saying? What triggered somebody to call you? If you're
while we
willing
wait for that, Kristen, let's pop that last comment up because that's probably more important. FYI, part of my new benefits package will be a paid subscription to MCO Advisors.
Way more important.
Junior. Very important.
Yeah, very important. I completely agree. It sounds like, Anthony, you're really investing in your business internally. And that's awesome. So that really is a great position. I had a similar position like that, similar payout.
Let's hit pause because hang on. We got more people here than when you first introduced this. So what are you even talking about?
Anthony's job that he's offering. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry, I didn't backtrack. So Anthony is offering a position to, he's calling really a junior advisor, but I don't know. I'm telling you, if you hate your job and you got 5 years experience and you're really looking to do things the right way and you're not financial planning and blah, 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 like jumping over there may feel like a lateral move, but what you'll most likely learn is going to be the thing that takes you to the next level. And if you are junior and getting into the business, really think about what you're doing and even think about moving states for an opportunity of such a thing. And if you really want to be an advisor, I really mean that.
Yeah,
because
guys,
learning financial planning is one thing, but being around somebody who's confident and learning sales is something that not many people have the opportunity to do. I feel like the energy from Anthony alone, just to be around him, will be worth working in that office.
Can I tell you something, share something that people threw around early in my career and in college as people were preparing? They threw around, mentorship, find a mentor, and everyone took it for granted. And what happened is 5 years in, you have less senior people willing to work with you as when you were first out of the gate. 10 years in, you have even less senior people willing to take you under their wing. 15 years in, you're competition to all of them, so then no one wants to help you out. If you have the opportunity to find a mentor, like some of the folks in this community, and it matches and checks 75% of the boxes for you: salary, location, aiming, the personalities jive. Man, the opportunity with Anthony and his team in Charlotte would be phenomenal. So I check that out, guys.
The opportunity to and the conversation I'll have, the authenticity of building your own book to leave or possibly helping him to build his and the mutual benefit just doesn't really exist. So I would really think about that in terms of, and everybody knows from your personal situation, every advisor seems to have some story about where they started, about some situation. That's really the most fair thing I can think of. Not to keep hammering that point, but obviously for anybody who's really thinking about it. I know 5 years ago, that would have been, that's an opportunity I had. Luckily it was right down the street. So, take advantage of it.
Hey, I want to rewind to the 18 months hit the right way thing. Like, huge, man. Like, we don't know where our prospects are in the buying sequence, and we never will. And we don't know what goes on at home. We don't know what their day is like. We don't know the stresses that they have. So we're putting out content consistently, and the content might be awesome, but it doesn't land the right way at the right time. But if you consistently do it, you're increasing, you're taking more swings, you're seeing more pitches, more at bats, and eventually that fastball is going to come right down the middle, and you're going to be ready for it. I'm drawing this analogy here, but the point is, like, we put things off as potential clients. Like, it sounds like an arduous thing. Like, I know I need to get my finances in order. I just don't feel like doing it today. Well, Anthony's post hit that person on the right time on the right day, and that's something that we have to keep in mind.
And if you can pull that comment up, Kristen, the 401k inflection point. Amazing post. Like never. That's some of the things that people forget too. Again, I don't want to keep patting Anthony on the back. I don't think his ego needs something like that. But every once in a while he hits these really thoughtful, even this morning, like really thoughtful, wise, insightful comments, and reaches to advisors. And some things are funny, and obviously crapping on mutual fund companies and captive agencies and things like that. But those 401k inflection point posts hit right through, and it just goes to show you can be yourself and be a few different people online. But if you're hitting content right, and if you really know what you're talking about and you're consistent with it, that stuff gets through. So people see you for your personality, but eventually it's like, most people may think that's a boring post, but that if you create a thought in somebody that they never had before, then it's just, you're creating like an emotion and an action point. So it's probably a mixture of he needed help, but never thought about it that way, as I never even have.
Yeah.
So most advisors look at that comment and they're like, oh, I wish I would have thought of that. That's like punching myself kind of thing.
Look, the reason some of this stuff does so well, and that one from Anthony on the 401k inflection and the amounts, is because it hits home, because we all, in the corporate world have 401k plans, and the audience he's speaking to can relate to the numbers that he's throwing out there. It's very tangible. It's not in the clouds. It's right in front of you. Like, if you are in this situation, XYZ, consider this. And that's niching down. That's speaking to your audience. Kristen, let's bring up Jeff's comment, because I think that's a good one too.
Yeah. So many advisors are so smart, but they have no one to see. It's probably a majority of all advisors, where he says mentorship is key. We have 3 very good advisors, and they all came in under mentorship as a junior wealth advisor. I think this is where, and I know we've talked about this before on the show, and I think everybody can agree, the earlier you start learning real financial planning in the process, and I think that's easier as a junior wealth advisor, because when you started as a captive agency, you prove yourself, you prove that you're good at sales, you prove that you have the grit, but you don't actually learn the right way of doing something until you step out of that ecosystem, or you have the capability to do that. So that's why I think being a junior advisor under somebody, mentorship, starting point, whatever you call it, is crucial, because the quicker you learn real financial planning, the easier it is to provide value, especially through your content. If you're at a captive agency, it's very difficult to say, I have all these objective options, when you don't. So it doesn't mean it's not right for them. It just makes it weird. It makes it hard. And if somebody's going to be like, well, am I going to go here, or am I going to go to this person who I know is legally obligated to say the right thing, or is a certified financial planner, whatever these things, that's the kind of thing that I think everybody should be thinking about for their long-term career. It's not short-term money, but long-term career.
Yeah. I mean, that's the easy advice. I think what we've seen, and in my experience anyways as well, is like, the farther down the rabbit hole you get of the pay to play, the, some of the behavior where things are being pushed down your throat that may or may not be right. They may or may not work. I'm not saying they're criminal. I'm not saying they're great. It's just, it may or may not. The farther down that rabbit hole you get, the harder it is to unwind that down the road. If you choose to go another route, it's harder to unwind that. And meaning those conversations are harder to have with those clients, because it's, what do you mean? You told me X, Y, and Z was right. And then it's, but ABC is better. And then having that conversation is difficult. So my eyes have really been open to that recently.
Yeah. And Dirk's comment
this is it, Dirk. Absolutely.
Is big. And one of the biggest thing is both those things I completely agree, especially the second part. You have to be patient and not expect to be able to jump into something and just boost to 6 figures. You have to earn your right in any way. But especially the first part, unlearning is difficult. Unlearning a bad habit is so much more difficult than acquiring a new one.
Yep.
So coming into the world as a blank slate is so much better as you pull all this speech patterns, way to talk to people, how to care about people. And that value is so much stronger than having to realize that the last 5 to 10 years you spent in that sales room of them telling you the power statements was not the way to go. And that's why it's so hard.
I think that applies to a lot of people watching too, whether they're junior advisors or, really successful, more senior advisors who are watching the show or who might watch this on demand in the feed later. Like unwinding not necessarily bad behavior, just the wrong behavior is really difficult. Like a lot of folks I see out there putting content into the world, it's self-fulfilling. It's me first content. It's pay attention to me. New clients come to me. This is why me. Like give back to the people. Give the clients, give the audience, the prospects, the value for free, and they will eventually come to you. Like, so that's bad behavior too. And I would say this isn't just coaching for new people. This is coaching for everybody. Like that bad behavior is really hard to unwind. And we were all taught self first, you know, and then figure it out later. But like the world is more in the client's favor than it is yours today.
Nice, Nick. That's the only excuse we'll accept for missing the show. Hanging out with your kids. But if you guys are with clients, I'm upset. You should be blocking this time off at this point. There's no reason you should be calling anybody from 9:30 to 10:30. Again, it's funny that we were talking about an infrastructure, but we were thinking about it from social media and marketing standpoint. But really, we backed into an infrastructure of almost how you can start, like in the industry, or how you can build yourself.
That's how it goes.
And the other thing I'll say is, a lot of people are thinking about now how important the financial planning process is, and this is credit to all us guys, and you guys especially, Anthony, Nick, people leading the charge, always talking about planning. We have a lot of people who are like, should I be planning? Should I be doing this? And asking those questions. And it's a good thing. It's so the content we're putting out is really changing the way other advisors are thinking. This show changes the way people think, and your comments and things like that. So not to say it should be, you know, just for the industry. Obviously, we all want to grow our businesses, but having one-on-one conversations with advisors is showing me that this stuff is working, and it's important for us to keep doing it. You know, good advisors finish first. All that stuff is not just a pat on the back. It's something that's really working, and I think really happening. There's so many of us on LinkedIn that it's, you know, putting out those messages is doing nothing but good.
I want to take a page from Anthony's book and you know, his figurative book and some of the coaching that he's provided us behind the scenes. And that is, guys, we love being here with you guys every morning, 9:30 to 10:30, giving you guys as much value as we can for free from 30,000 feet. But we're also trying to run a business, and Ryan and I, you know, are also trying to make money here. And if you're an advisor out there watching that could use some marketing coaching and you believe in financial planning, we want you to also consider that marketing planning is an entire additional kind of effort and exercise that can be applied to your business. And they're very much one and the same. Only one is going to help you reach more people and gain more attention, similar to the way I'm kind of fumbling here. But the point is, we put a marketing plan in place for financial advisors. And I would consider you guys watching, if that's something that would be helpful, to, you know, check out mcoadvisors.com and get in touch with us.
Yeah, pay us money. Pay us your money.
No,
that's my add-on. Don't forget. Pay us your money. Yeah, I get that, Anthony. And the only thing I guess I can say to that is, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I guess think about it where you first started in the industry. You know, a lot of people are a few years in and they're realizing the long-term effects. They're wondering, what should I be doing? Where's the end to this? You know, you started making a decent amount of money, but you're figuring out, okay, I want to start building a more, I feel like I'm hunt and kill all the time. And then you start questioning, like, is this infrastructure right for me? Should I be at this place? And then, I don't know. And all advisors grow different places. That's kind of why,
well, people don't come out of
a stage, and
no one comes out of school and says, you don't come out of school and say, I want to be a financial advisor. Exactly where should I go? Like, that's not how it works. It's generally, you know, somebody knows somebody, you get attached, you get in with a firm. And, you know, a lot of people are lucky that they've gotten in with the right firm, but a lot of people might be a little bit more unlucky that they got in with maybe the wrong firm, or a firm that's harder. Like, if your father-in-law works at so-and-so and is willing to bring you in and pay you a salary when you're 22 and learn, you know, you wake up and you're 30 and you're in.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. It definitely is mostly in the industry of who you know, and you end up talking to somebody and just joining because somebody, you know, is like, I'm successful here, so can you. And it just turns into, but it doesn't mean it's right for you. And I think everybody's success is different. And especially when you're young, it's hard to figure out where to start. So you got to do your due diligence.
Yeah, Joel, great comment.
From Joel. Service is often overlooked as an authentic marketing tool. Giving yourself is as effective, as rewarding as putting out authentic content. What a beautiful written comment, Joel. Honestly, I couldn't have said it any better than that. I think I always talk about customer service and things like that. And whenever I say that in terms of focusing on your current people, nurturing your current relationships, that is what I mean and how I wish I could say it. And Corey, how many times are we on the phone, especially with somebody who has, man, if you have 250 relationships, how many times are we on the phone when we're just like, or when we're talking to somebody, on Zoom, and we're like, hey, pick up the phone, just start calling everybody. Every time. Forget it. Like if I hear you have a certain amount of relationships and you're not getting help, in my mind, I'm like, no way you're calling everybody. It's just not possible. But now I'm going to tell you to do it. So before you start talking about social media and wanting new people, call your current people. And if you don't want to do that, then the problem may be that, most people build books of businesses of not ideal avatars like we talk about. They take what they can get, then they figure out where they stand, and then they go. So don't be too hard on yourself. But again, if you're looking for money, it's in your current relationships. I promise you that.
I think the problem is that is met 9 times out of 10 with it's exhausting. It doesn't sound fun. Like bringing in new business sounds exciting. Like who knows what it could be? It could be $2 million. Who knows? Like, and they might know. Like, bringing in new business is sexy. It's fun. It's exhilarating. It fulfills all the things as to why you're an entrepreneur. Adding on additional services from existing clients does the exact same thing. Adding on AUM from existing clients does the same thing, but it doesn't feel the same. And I think when we say, are you contacting your current clients? Are you touching base with them? Do they know what's going on? Have you just said hi? People are like, oh, that doesn't sound like a very fun day. Thanks for joining, Anthony. Thanks for, cheers. Thanks for being in the comments today.
Yeah, especially go work for Anthony now that I know that he's going to sign up somebody for MCO. So that's even a bigger reason for you to go over there. Because then if you go there, then we make money, and then that's awesome too.
So this is a pay-to-play situation now.
Yeah.
He greases the wheels, and then you talk about him, and I see.
Yep. I completely agree. Especially it takes one of the points I'll make with that comment. It takes strength to leave a suboptimal situation. It sure does. It sure does. And I think that's I think what people always look at, and I'll say this about leaving a suboptimal situation, at least if anybody's thinking about that, since we're on the topic. Most people think they're starting over. And while it feels like you're starting over, most people have already built a lot of equity in the world. They have a lot of relationships. They have a lot of people they're currently working with who are going to move with them that they don't think will or aren't sure will. And then they have a lot of people who are waiting to work with them. Once you kind of announce you're doing your own thing and you're stepping out and you say why you're doing it for the right reasons and all this stuff, it shows a lot of growth, and something I did personally. So I can say that while you're starting over and it feels like you're starting from zero, it's not really zero. You may be taking a hit at first, but assuming you've been doing the right thing at the right place and you just want to move, that good equity is going to follow you. So just remember that is something. The world will pay you back a little bit for being a good person.
Look, I don't want to use, like, this isn't a pat on or being a martyr or anything like that, pat on the back situation, but like I left a really, really good paying corporate job in 2019 to start my own business, helping financial services professionals, advisors, and wholesale companies market themselves. And that was not the same paying job, and it did not come with any of the same benefits. And it was scary as shit, and it still is. But I don't go to bed on Sunday night hating work. I don't pander to anybody. I do what I believe in and what I believe is right. And I don't push things that I don't believe in. I don't push things that anyone can ever question me on, because I would say that's what I believed in. And yes, the world may have changed, but that was right at the time. Instead of that pays me X, so I pushed it to you. And I'm not out here to demonize anybody. I'm just telling you my story of I left a job that I have not recovered the salary on over 2 years ago, and I missed the money, but I don't miss what came with it.
Yep. So sign up. So we can be monetarily happy as well. No, but again, big, I don't know. I know the show always takes a tangent and goes in a different direction, which I actually appreciate. I think makes it part of what it is. But, don't forget with everything that we're saying is to keep it simple. I think keeping it simple is the key. We're always, as people, overcomplicating things, overcomplicating our situation, marketing, and everything else. So I think when we think about building the infrastructure, what I think about is really starting simple and then building from there. Because usually, if you start complicated, it's just hard to backtrack from there and figure out a real system. Simple is easy to systemize.
Yeah, and guys, thanks for joining us this morning. Totally. I love when these shows start somewhere and they go a different direction. So we'll use building a foundation as another topic next week.
Yeah. I have no idea. We don't know what we're going to be talking about in the morning. And then once the show hits about 15 minutes, it can go any direction. So even if I write the topic, it's not the topic.
In all seriousness, guys, if you're out there
is.
And you need some marketing help, some marketing guidance, and putting a marketing plan in place would help you, just check us out, mcoadvisors.com. We'll jump on the phone and talk to you, explain what we're about. It's really working with Ryan and I like this on a granular level, just not at the 30,000 foot level. Like we're in the weeds with you on your business instead of just kind of opining
right here. You'll be right in there. Whoa. Really like that. I like that. In a text message.
Good stuff.
Just immediate response. Just like a breakup. Text message, email. Something that doesn't challenge you emotionally. No, I'm just kidding. That's a really good topic. I like that. We should dig into that. All right, guys. I don't know if you can hear me, Corey, but my internet's been fuzzy and you're freezing every once in a while. So I'm just going to end the show as if you can hear me. And if not, then interrupt me. But
maybe time to get that.
See you guys tomorrow. It's on the way. Oh, I got a new router. The router's old. And then we get the new internet, whatever that means. Hopefully it's faster. What do they do? Okay, sir, would you like more internet? And click. Now you have more internet. Like, give me more internet. What is the process? Do they come out and add another cable to my house? What? Give me my internet. You know what I mean? Why do we have levels? Just charge me for something and give us internet. Is it difficult? All right. So anyway, it's not you, it's me. Exactly, Nick. That's exactly. Okay. See you guys. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning. Joe Conroy on Wednesday, the 10th. Is that Wednesday? It's the 10th. Whatever day that is, the 10th. Don't forget. So come here for that. It's going to be
Nick,
the best show we've ever
market
had.
is going absolutely bananas right now. I'm unloading so many cards right now. Just kind of narrowing my personal collection as this thing goes nuts.
You're selling a bunch?
Yeah, anything that is not near and dear to me right now, I'm moving.
I mean more speed, Dave. So when I say more internet, I mean speed. Make it faster. Stop limiting me.
How about just consistent?
That would work too. That would work as well, because I'm pretty sure whatever my wife and kids are doing upstairs is happening from 9:30 all the way until the end of the show. It just seems to be randomly. It's like, and now. 86 Jordan.
God, no, I wish I had one of those.
Do you have any Jordans?
Jordans?
Yeah.
Graded? No, I do not.
Yeah. No? Okay. Would you tell anybody? Is there any codes where you're like, you just be afraid to tell somebody it's in your house?
No, it's all insured.
Oh.
Dude, I mean, the 86 Jordan, Ryan, you're talking like you can buy 3 houses. They're like, one of them just went for $770,000. Like, you can't fool around with that stuff. That's got to be in like a safe.
Yeah. I agree with that. No, yeah, that's terrifying to have a card worth that much. I wouldn't even want to touch it. I put gloves on it before I grabbed it.
I don't think
with foam tips, so I make sure I don't bend the corners. All right, everybody, we got to go. We got to talk to Kristen.